G'day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at everything you guys need to know about how to get your set pieces in World of Warcraft Dragonflight. So basically a new mechanic's been added into Dragonflight whereby you can pick up sparks, and these are basically going to allow you to convert set pieces. So to begin with, you need to be able to take this quest. It's located in Valdrakken, the city of Valdrakken, and you will see it here on the top of the tower, where you can see all the big major dragons, the leaders of the dragon aspects, and it's dropped from Watcher Coronos, and it's called Reviving the Machine. And basically he wants us to head out to Tierhold, and we want to go to this machine so that we can learn about revival catalysts. Once you take the quest will appear and you will see it pop up here on your map. Okay, and then you want to start flying there. So while we are flying there, let's just talk about what items can people convert into set pieces. So we'll just move my camera there. Woo! I moved. So yeah, basically, to cut a long story short, there are only certain pieces that can be converted into set pieces. So these are pieces that drop from your weekly vault. So any piece that drops out of your weekly vault, these can be converted into set pieces. So whether you get them from doing LFR, whether you get them from doing Mythic, or whether you get them from PvP, these can be converted into set pieces. Then any piece of gear that drops from a Mythic Plus can be converted into a set piece. Any piece of gear that drops from a raid can also be converted into a set piece. Obviously trinkets don't count. And then finally, any piece of gear that you get from the weekly PvP rewards can be converted into a set piece, and I will go and show you guys where you can find them. But here we are, we're at the machine, and we will finally accept this quest, complete this quest, and then you will see gather Renaissance from group content throughout the Dragon Isles. This will give you Renaissance Lifeblood, which charges the revival catalyst and allows us to imbue the armor. So, as you can see here, we now have Revival Catalyst as a quest. So it's important to understand that this Revival Catalyst quest line, basically fills up from doing content around Azeroth. Now, a couple things will count for this content. So, for example, the Community Feast counts 10% for this content. The hunts, if I can find where it is, there we go, the hunts are here. The hunts that occur will count 10%. The Dragonbane Siege will count 10%, and then any elite world quests, so that's these ones here with these little kind of markings there, will count up to 50% as well. And the world quest for the dragon will also count 50%. So these quests here are obviously the main priority to do. They will obviously give you the highest percentage. Whether it'll stay like that, I don't know. It is just like that right now. And doing these quests will help you to complete your weekly charge. So it's a pretty straightforward process. As I mentioned, there's only certain pieces of gear. So just to reiterate for you, Mythic Plus counts. Any piece of gear from Mythic Plus. Doing any raids, you can do them on LFR, or do them via Group Finder to do dungeon-based content. And then anything that you purchase from the PvP vendor will also count. But there's also one more source of gear, and that is actually in Valdrakken. So in Valdrakken, you can also get your hands on those Storm currencies from participating in Primal Storm content, and by participating in that content, you can actually get your hands on essentially a whole bunch of quite valuable rewards. Obviously you can farm 385 gear. So if you don't know, these storms that appear on your map, these primal storms, there's one that appear here, these elemental storms, they drop currency, and if you trade in this currency, you can actually get gear from these vendors. And this gear, this is the 359 gear, but this gear here is actually, why can't I buy from this guy? What is going on? This gear that you can get from these vendors is actually 385, and it's a fantastic way to gear up your characters because you can also trade that in for set pieces as well. So that covers kind of all the sources. Any gear you buy from the Conquest or Honor vendor as well will also count. So if you go to the PvP section and you come here, any gear that you buy from here will also count. So these are all the pieces of gear that you can upgrade, and these will be able to be turned into set pieces. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to know when it comes to set pieces, but we'll talk about that once I have my charge. So what I'm going to do is super quickly going to cut the footage, and I'll meet you guys back at the Revival Catalyst. So see you there. So welcome back. We've done a little bit of events. So a couple corrections. Firstly, the wood boss gives 20%. The events like the hunts and the Dragonbane Siege, these all give 10%, and that will occur when you open your chest. And these elite quests here that you see, the group-based ones with these percentage-based bars, these give 20%. So it's not too bad. I'm actually at 50% right now. It didn't take too long, so it really wasn't that bad. So it really wasn't too much of an issue. This quest is account-wide, so if you switch characters, they can also make progress to this quest, which is pretty good. And yeah, honestly, it's pretty straightforward. Now, talking about actual gear pieces themselves, so you can convert any piece of gear into the raid tier gear. So for transmog purposes, if you're looking to convert it, you obviously can. But generally speaking, your main purpose will be for sets. And sets occur on only a couple pieces. So let's move camera again. Sets only occur on a couple pieces. So sets will occur on the hands, on the head, the legs, the chest, and the shoulders. So that is the areas where your set pieces occur. And if you come here and you take a look, you will see that there's a couple things or rules that this follows. So if I switch my headpiece will remain heroic level, but will just become the set piece. The stats will also change, the secondary stats, so you need to be aware of these things when you're changing them. If you have a piece of gear that maybe has favorable secondary stats, you might not want to consider changing it. But for example, my pants, which are critical and haste, change to haste and critical. It's not too bad, although me personally, I do need more haste. So consider all of these factors when you are obviously looking at what pieces to change. Similarly, mythic gear can be upgraded, so taking a piece of gear, converting it, and then upgrading it is a great way to have kind of a permanent piece of gear. So there's a couple of things like that that I think can help you out for the most part. Now, for example, if your piece of gear rolls with an additional stat, so for example, this waist rolled with the speed stat, which is an additional stat, players can sometimes get additional stats, sockets, whatever, as an additional roll on gear. This will continue onto the gear you change, so you will not lose bonus stats. So that's pretty good. And honestly, guys, that is it. So it's super duper simple. It will cost you 1 catalyst charge, and you can get these basically like for every single character that you have. So it's a very, very simple process. You don't need to worry too much about it. You can very easily grind it out and get these done quite quickly. or you can obviously get them done at your own pace. It's just going to depend. Yeah, once you do have them, obviously the goal is to get your 4-step bonus, because that's going to be something that's going to help you out in the long run. But honestly, guys, that's really about it. So I hope this covers everything you needed to know about the revival catalyst and about catalysts and just, yeah, everything in general. So I hope you guys have every question answered. If you don't, leave a comment and I'll get to it. But thanks for watching. Bye.